What is going on, you guys? It is your boy Matt Talk Sports, and today we are starting off with the AFC predictions. And today I am predicting the AFC North and the AFC South. And man, I have some surprises in these two divisions. And hopefully by Wednesday night, I'll have my AFC East and my AFC West predictions, and I'll have a Bills corner to talk about how I really feel about the Bills this year, since that's really a thing I want to focus on my channel because I am a die-hard Bills fan. So expect that. I also will give my prediction to the Cowboys versus Eagles game that happens the next day on Thursday. I have a pretty clear and consensus opinion about that game. So let's get into it. We are talking the AFC North first, bottom from top. This is going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I think the Cleveland Browns finished fourth in the AFC North. There really is not much to like about the Cleveland Browns this year. I mean, you can start it off with the QB room. I mean, the QB room is Joe Flacco, who, look, I like. I think he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks of all time. But come on, he is an old man now. If he's going to win him a few games, it's going to be 1 to 2 games at max with just him winning it for them. Shador Sanders and Dylan Gabriel cap out that QB room. I am not confident in that QB room at all. The running back room is spotty. Jerome Ford, Quinshawn Jenkins, another rookie from Tennessee, Dylan Sampson. The wide receiver room is probably the best room on this offense. I like Jerry Jeudy. I like Cedric Tillman. And then if you want to consider David Njoku, tight end, or a wide receiver, he also is really good. So he's a part of the receiving core. That is the most solidified group on this team for me. It's David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman. Their O-line is a bottom 25 O-line in the league. And the best part of this team is their defense. But honestly, the offense is so bad and not entertaining or just not really good enough. I don't think this offense is going to be able to motivate this defense. And I don't think this offense will be able to stay on the field so the defense doesn't get gassed. Because honestly, this offense is putrid compared to a lot of the rest of the league. It's probably a bottom 3 offense, bottom 4 offense in the league. It is not a really good offense, but that defense is great. We already know the players on that defense. Myles Garrett is, obviously, we all know how great he is. I wish he was a Buffalo Bills. There were some Buffalo Bills rumors attached to him a while ago. I wish he went to the Buffalo Bills, but he's still in Cleveland. And they just drafted Mason Graham, who I think is really good, from Michigan. Malik Collins, Denzel Ward, Devin Bush, Greg Newsome, Grant Delpit. There's some players I like on that defense, but ultimately this team is too underwhelming for me. The offense is too bad. It's a bottom 3 offense in the league, especially if you consider that offensive line. I am not a fan of this team. They finished 3-14 last year. I have them finishing 4-13. Some Flacco magic missed in there and some division play. They'll probably win a game or two in division, or a game or two outside of the division. So I have this team finishing 4-13, being one of the worst teams in the league. I wouldn't be surprised if they had less than 4 wins. Easily 4th in this division for me. Now we move on to the team who I think is finishing 3rd. Some people consider this team to be one of the Buffalo Bills' boogeyman. I have the Cincinnati Bengals finishing 3rd this year. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are in for another rude awakening on this season. I am not impressed with this team outside of the obvious pieces. Joe Burrow, I'm impressed with. Jamar Chase, I'm impressed with. T. Higgins, Chase Brown, I'm impressed with Trey Henderson. That's really where I begin to falter in being impressed. The rest of this team is not impressed with me at all. Don't get me wrong, I like Gesicki and Noah Fant. I mean, they cap off the tight end room. Those are some really good tight ends to be in your receiving core to accompany Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Isovas, who was really good for the Bengals last year from Princeton. But the O-line doesn't move me at all. It's a bottom 3 O-line, and when you look at that defense is worrisome, man. I mean, it's the very definition of worrisome. Outside of Trey Henderson, who led the league in sacks last year, that defense does not move me at all. I am very worried about the Bengals. Honestly, obviously, I'm not worried, I wouldn't say, but, I do not believe in the Bengals. I know some people are like, oh, you're a Bills fan, so of course you don't believe in the Bengals. You hate the Bengals, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I'm objective. The Bengals are not going to be a great team this year like they were last year. This defense is too bad for me, and the O-line is just atrocious. I really don't know how they don't overcome the defense and the O-line combined. Listen, Joe Burrow is a great quarterback. He is one of the most confident and composed quarterbacks in the league. At the end of the day, he's been injured before, and this O-line is going to put him in the midst of injury problems if they don't protect him, and I don't think they're going to protect him this year. So hopefully he stays healthy because I want a healthy Burrow. It's better for the NFL if he's healthy, but I am worried about his health, and I'm definitely worried about the O-line protecting him this year because that O-line is not very good. The offense minus the offensive line is very Super Bowl ready. It's pretty evident. It is very Super Bowl ready team. You have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and then you have Noah Fant, Gesicki, Chase Brown, Samaje Perine, Taj Brooks. Like, there are some really good weapons on this offense. It is a Super Bowl ready offense if it wasn't for the O-line. So, sadly, they don't have a great O-line if you're a Bengals fan. Happily, they don't have a great O-line if you're a Bills fan. But honestly, if you're the rest of the league, you are happy the Bengals don't have a great offensive line, or at least a mediocre one, because their offensive line is atrocious, and then you look at their defense. Who is scared of that defense? Here are their key defensive players, which obviously Trey Hendrickson is great. 17.5 sacks last year. The new rookie Shamar Stewart, Geno Stone, Cam Taylor-Britt, and Logan Wilson. Listen, I like Logan Wilson. I don't mind him at middle linebacker. That defense is not good. It's just not good. I don't see them being very good. I see the Bengals finishing 9-8 due to their defense and their offensive line problems. It's a bottom 3 O-line, and it's probably one of the worst defenses in the league if you're removing Trey Hendrickson and company. Bengals aren't a good team, 9-8. Sorry to break into Cincinnati fans. Go Bills. Moving on to the next team, and I think maybe one of the surprises of the year, and honestly, to my surprise, because before I went over the depth chart and just in my mind the schedule the Steelers would have this year, I thought the Steelers were going to be mid because that's what they've been recently. I haven't been the biggest proprietor of Mike Tomlin as a head coach. I have said in the recent seasons that he might be on the hot seat, and he is dwindling into mediocrity as the seasons continue for him. But I do think this team is going to be good this year after looking at the depth chart, looking at the schedule. I have the Steelers finishing 11-6 this year. I kind of believe in the Steelers this year. And I know that's shocking. I wasn't a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers on the Jets last year. I just wasn't. He didn't look good in the pocket. He didn't look good when he got hit. He looked like he didn't want to get hit. But the Steelers, when you compare to the recent quarterbacks they had Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Mason Rudolph, and a couple other shitty quarterbacks. Big Ben, when he was closing his career, was not a good quarterback. Stiff, just bad. Now they got Aaron Rodgers. Despite me not thinking Aaron Rodgers was good last year, I think they're going to be good this year. I do. Mostly because of their defense, but I think Aaron Rodgers is better than any of the quarterbacks I named just now. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to do good for the Steelers team. I am pretty curious to see how this team turns out because actually I think this team, if everything goes right, is 11-6. So I'm predicting them to be 11-6. I like the running back room, Jaylen Warren, Caleb Johnson. I like how Jaylen Warren ran last year in these past 2 years. I think Caleb Johnson from Iowa is a pretty intriguing rookie. I am not the biggest fan of DK Metcalf, but I like DK Metcalf. The wide receiver room on this team is probably one of the most uncertain rooms in the league, and definitely probably the most uncertain room on this team. I like DK Metcalf. He has a less of an attitude problem than George Pickens, but also he does have these weird flare-ups where he loses his mind, loses his self-control, gives up on some plays, forgets to block. But when he is focused and locked in, he blocks really well. He is determined, and goddamn, he is fast, and he's a fucking physical monster. So I do like him as the wide receiver 1 here. But then you go down after that. The depth at wide receiver is not good. The rest of the wide receiver room is Calvin Austin, Robin Wilson, Scotty Miller, and Ben Skoranek. Not great. Their tight end room might be the best in the league if you're considering depth, and it honestly makes the receiving core more of a threat. Because you have Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, who was great on the Dolphins last year, and then you have that big fucker, Darnell Washington. So the wide receiving core, minus the depth at wide receiver, is really good. So the main guys he's going to be thrown to this year is DK, Calvin Austin, maybe Roman Wilson if he steps up, but I'm going to leave him out for now. So it's going to be DK, Calvin Austin, Pat Freiermuth, and Jonnu Smith. That's a good core 4 in my opinion. I like what I saw out of Jonnu Smith last year, and I did like what I see out of Pat Freiermuth from time to time. So offense isn't bad. I think this offense is better than the offense they've had recently, and I think they upgraded at running back, getting rid of Najee, and I think they upgraded at wide receiver 1, getting rid of Pickens to get DK Metcalf, despite me not being the biggest fan of DK. Obviously, their O-line, I wish it was better, and if it was a better offensive line, it would propel me to believe in this team more, but I think that they will be fine. The offensive line will be fine enough to not let this be a disaster on offense for them. And then obviously the Steelers, Their defense has one of the best defenses in the league. The Steelers' defense here is fucking unbelievable when you go down on the depth chart. This defense improved from last year. Here are some defensive stats from last year's defense: 40 sacks, 17 interceptions, 22 forced fumbles, and 16 fumble recoveries. So if they improve upon that, which I think they might, that is insane. Let's go over some of their key defensive players. Obvious ones: T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward. They just got Jalen Ramsey, Jawan Thornhill, Joey Porter Jr., Derek Harmon, the rookie, Peyton Wilson, who, man, I fucking love Peyton Wilson from NC State. That fucking guy can go. Watch out for Peyton Wilson. He might be a sleeper for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then you got Patrick Queen, Darius Slay, and Alex Highsmith. Bro, this defense is legit. Watch out. Watch out for the 2 new rookies they got. This defense is going to propel them to winning 11 games this year, in my opinion. The offense will be able to score, I think, 20 points a game more times than not. And this defense, man, is going to shut out some teams. I'm telling you, this defense is good. As I've been dwindling in confidence in Mike Tomlin in recent years, my confidence is pretty strong in his coaching ability for this year's team. I like this team. I think they're going 11-6 this year. They upgraded at quarterback, and my only concern for this team is wide receiver depth and the O-line. Everything else is solidified and certified for me. As much as I didn't like Aaron Rodgers last year because he was a Jet, they surely upgraded our offense at QB. So wide receiver depth and O-line might be the downfall of this team, but everything else, obviously health could be in the way too. That's for any team. So wide receiver depth, O-line, and health could be the downfall of this team, but this team is going 11-6, and they're finishing second in the AFC North, in my opinion. I think I'm going to hate myself for saying this. Oh, man. I can't even get it out. I kind of don't even want to say it, but I'm going to say it. Listen, I am scared of the Chiefs always whenever playing them in the playoffs. I am scared of them. They are a boogeyman. Patrick Mahomes is 4-0 against Josh Allen and the Bills. Andy Reid 4-0 against Josh Allen and the Bills. We are 2-0 against Lamar, and we're pretty great against them in the regular season. I mean, you could say Josh Allen and the Bills dominate and own Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying that, but you could say that. However, I think this is the best Baltimore Ravens team that Lamar Jackson has had. Calm the horses, all right? Fuck Baltimore, and honestly, I really like Lamar, so I'm not going to say fuck Lamar. However, this is a scary fucking team, man, and I am hard-pressed not to put them at the 1 seed in the AFC. I think the Ravens have a better roster and better depth chart than anybody in the league, except for the Eagles, probably. This team from top to bottom is fucking incredible. They got better on defense, which is a big thing for them. I don't trust Lamar in the playoffs against great teams like the Bills or the Chiefs. They are great in the regular season. They destroyed the NFC, and this defense got better. So I am super confident in the Ravens this year. I think they lose the first game in Buffalo, but I could easily see that game playing one of 2 ways. If it's a close game, I think the Bills win. If it's a blowout, the Ravens win. I mean, I think it's pretty simple like that. If it is a close game, the Bills will win. However, if the Ravens win in a close game, that is really, really, really something to dive deep on as the season continues, because they won a close game against the Bills, and that is impressive. However, if it's a blowout, I think it's not the Bills, it's the Ravens. If the Bills blow out the Ravens, then holy shit, get ready for uber confident Matt on Monday, because holy fuck, I will be hyped. Anyway, this Ravens team is fucking great. Once you look at the roster, I see this team going 14-3. I see this team only losing to the Bills, Bengals, and Steelers. Bro, this is legit shit. I see them losing to the Bengals, Bills, and Steelers, and I think one of those Bengals or Steelers losses because it's the last week of football and everyone's benched. So really, they can really go 15-2. Man, this team is good. Let's go over some of the weapons. It's obvious. Lamar Jackson, one of the best football players you'll ever see, and the 3rd best quarterback in football. He is incredible. They only lost 2 players this year from last year's roster, so they are really good. In that standpoint, the running back room: Derrick Henry, who's getting older, still great, one of the best running backs in the league. Justice Hill, who I really like, and who fucking annoys the shit out of me whenever he plays the Bills. Keaton Mitchell, who I liked before he got injured. The wide receiver room is the only really question mark for me, because I like Zay Flowers. I do. I really like Zay Flowers. I shouldn't admit that, but I do. Don't see him as a wide receiver 1. He'd be an exceptional wide receiver 2. Then they have Rashad Bateman, who came on last year, who actually looked really good for them. He's their wide receiver 2. Then they have DeAndre Hopkins, who's just washed. Tyler Wallace, who made some plays for them last year. Devontae Walker, and then LaJohntay Wester. The wide receiver room is not really much of confidence for me, but they have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and then they have the two tight ends who, despite Mike Andrews having a horrible game against the Bills in the playoffs in the divisional round last year, they have Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Their O-line isn't the greatest in the world either. It's probably an average O-line, top 17, bottom 17, however you want to phrase it. That's where their O-line ends up. But listen, their offense will be fine. They have Lamar Jackson, so if he stays healthy, they're going to be great regardless. And they have Derrick Henry, so if he stays healthy and he doesn't show like he's washed due to his age this year, they are fine. This is one of the scariest teams in the NFL. And then you go to their fucking defense. It's one of the scariest offenses in the league, and then it's probably the scariest defense in the league. We know how John Harbaugh gets his boys on defense. Let's go over their defensive weapons. They just got Jair Alexander. Malachi Starks, who I heard is fucking incredible. He looked great in Georgia, but apparently he's been really good preseason. Kyle Van Noy, Mike Green, who I heard has been great and fell in the draft due to his allegations and whatever happened there. Nate Wiggins, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, Roquan Smith, and Odafe Owe. Bro, this defense is legit, and I'm worried. If I had to rank the teams I'm scared of, fuck you guys if you guys see this video, but if I had to rank teams I'm scared of in the AFC, I really think it'd go like this, based off record alone. I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm more scared of the Ravens than the Chiefs this year. Listen, if we face the Chiefs this year in the playoffs, which probably happens, I am still scared. But the Ravens roster is fucking great. And I know people know we beat the Ravens in the division last year. That's what happened. However, the Bills only scored 6 points in the second half in that game. So, yeah, we beat them, and I'm really happy we beat them. I was so happy we beat them, and I'm confident we beat them again in the playoffs. But if I had to rank teams I'm most worried about facing the playoffs this year, Chiefs are second and the Ravens are first. I know how psychotic that sounds because the Chiefs are 4-0 against us in the playoffs, but I'm telling you, man, this Ravens team is really good. I have them finishing 14-3 and winning the AFC North with ease and probably being the number one seed in the NFL and especially in the AFC. The Buffalo Bills, I want to say finished in the first seed, but I am not confident in the secondary of that team, especially the safeties. But we'll get to that in the next video. So AFC North, I have 14-3 Baltimore Ravens, 11-6 Pittsburgh Steelers, 9-8 Bengals, and 4-13 Cleveland Browns. That's how I see the AFC North going. Let's go to the AFC South, who I think will be a surprise winner for a lot of people watching this video. In last place, this shouldn't be a question or a debate. I think it's pretty simple. I have the Tennessee Titans finishing last. Despite them upgrading at quarterback with Cam Ward and seemingly getting rid of Will Levis, who was one of the worst quarterbacks maybe ever last year. The way that guy blew games and fucked over the Titans last year was unbelievable, but hey, at least they got their guy, or supposedly their guy, in Cam Ward, who I really like. I like his attitude. I like how he throws the ball. I like how he plays. I'm a fan of Cam Ward. Everything else about this team isn't great. I kind of like their depth at wide receiver. I mean, I'm looking at my phone real quick. Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, Van Jefferson, Alika Manor. I butchered his name, but he's from Stanford. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I watched him at Stanford, though. I liked him. He's the one who mossed Travis Hunter. And yeah, I like their tight end room, Chiga Conwo and Gunnar Helm, who I liked at Texas. They have a bottom 25 O-line, but their defense is really what's strong here. They lost Harold Landry from last year, but they do have Jonathan Simmons, who, man, that motherfucker is nice. I love Jonathan Simmons. Wish he was a Buffalo Bill. Tavondre Sweat, another big boy I love, man. Pause, but I love Tavondre Sweat. Amani Hooker, L'Jarius Sneed, who washed up, I think, potentially. Amani Hooker, Xavier Woods, and Roger McCreary. So I have them finishing 4-13. I really don't need to go on much about this, despite, elevating their QB room with Cam Ward. I think this team is not very good. I do like the guys he's throwing to this year. I think that would be a good foundation for him to build on in later seasons. I think Calvin Ridley will be integral to him. I think Okama will be integral to him. And I do think guys like Van Jefferson and Tyler Lockett will be integral to his game. Tony Pollard I like, but this O-line is not good enough to run the ball this year. So I'm not intrigued with this team. I will be watching this team from time to time due to Cam Ward, because I do want to see what Cam Ward looks like. Maybe they'll be on the computer, laptop, or the fourth TV screen, who knows. 4-13, I see this team finishing, and pretty convincingly in last place in the AFC South. In third place, an interesting team, but a team that I don't think is going to be very good this year. I have this team finishing 6-11. It is the Indianapolis Colts. Listen, Anthony Richardson, man, did they ever give up on him? It would be really bad for them if they started Anthony Richardson and then they benched him because of how bad he was playing and they had to bring in Daniel Jones. This way, it's, hey, we're starting Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones plays really bad, then we move on to Anthony Richardson and he can show us what he got finally. But I do think this experiment they had is over. 50% completion percentage is just horrible. Can't do it in the NFL. So, yeah, the QB room. Listen, I have like a weird sentimental feelings towards Daniel Jones as a football player, but not a good football player, I don't think, unless he shocks us all this season. So, yeah, QB room not great. They have a top 5 to 7 O line in the league, and they have Jonathan Taylor. When Jonathan Taylor is healthy, that man is one of the most great running backs in the league, and he runs the ball efficiently and greatly, and he's one of my favorite running backs to watch in the league. Loved him in college at Wisconsin. Really like him in the NFL. Drafted him on my fantasy team. I hope Jonathan Taylor balls out this year because I really love Jonathan Taylor, and I am rooting for his success. Their wide receiver room leaves a little bit too much to the desire for me, despite me liking a couple of guys. Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, Adonai Mitchell, who I wanted to go to the Bills originally, but kind of glad that didn't pan out that way. I love Keon Coleman. And then the wide receiver room, which my favorite tight end from this year's draft, and one of the most electric college players I've ever seen play football, Tyler Warren. That motherfucker, this might be a Hall of Famer. Mark it down. Matt Talks Sports with 3 subscribers and 9 followers on Instagram, and maybe like less than 9 followers on TikTok, says Tyler Warren is going to be a Hall of Famer. Sue me. That guy is special. What Tyler Warren did at Penn State is some of the most dominant things I've ever seen any football player do. The positions they had this man playing, the different spots on the field they had this man at different times and in different schemes was fucking beautiful to watch. That man is a Hall of Famer in the making. And they have Mo Alley Cox to accompany him. So this offense has a top 5 O-line, Jonathan Taylor, a really, really great young rookie in my opinion, and they have some decent wide receiver pieces. So maybe this offense won't completely stink, but don't think it's a great offense. I wish it was a better offense. I wish they had better receivers. I wish they had a better quarterback, but they don't. Their defense is interesting too. Their defense had 36 sacks, 16 interceptions, 18 forced fumbles, and 9 fumble recoveries. Key defensive players they have is Woody Paye, DeForest Buckner, Latu, Zaire Franklin, Travarius Ward, Xavier Howard, Kenny Moore, and Cam Bynum. Their key losses this year included Ryan Kelly and Will Freeze, both O-linemen, and they still have a top 5 O-line, which is crazy. But this defense, despite me liking Woody Paye, DeForest Buckner, Latu, Travarius Ward, and Xavier Howard, I don't know if that's going to be enough for them to succeed. There are some things I like about this team, but ultimately, this team doesn't move the needle for me. They're in the AFC South. They're not going to be a very good team. I seen them finishing 6-11, and they finished 3rd in the AFC South. Maybe they shock me. I know a lot of people have this team shocking a lot of people this year, but me personally, I do not have that happening. So, 6-11, finished 3rd in the AFC South. The Houston Texans are going to finish 2nd place in the AFC South this year. I have a couple reasons why I am not a believer of the Houston Texans this year, despite me having them finishing over 500. It really just starts with their O-line. Their O-line is a bottom 3 O-line in the league, and they got rid of one of their best O-linemen, their very best O-lineman, matter of fact, in Laramie Tunsil. And that O-line was still bad last year. So they had Laramie Tunsil on their O-line, and they got rid of him. And the upgrades they made don't move me. And this O-line is going to be horrible, atrocious, and they're putting C.J. Stroud in harm's way, and it's going to be a really, really grave weight on how this offense moves this year. I am not loving this offense at all, despite me loving C.J. Stroud and really liking Nico Collins and obviously liking Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, and the boys. They lost Stephon Diggs to the Patriots, and then they lost Tank Dell to a severe injury. So this offense is very worrisome starting at O-line. They gained Christian Kirk, who I like Christian Kirk, but is he moving the fucking needle? No. And then they got Xavier Hutchinson, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, and Justin Watson. Their tight ends are Dalton Schultz and Cade Stover. Their running back room is Nick Chubb, Damian Pierce, Woody Marks, who I really like. I thought about drafting Woody Marks in my 12-man league. Didn't take him with my last pick. Might regret it. I took Tyler Algier instead. Let me know if that was a fucked up pick. But And then they have Joe Mixon, who's injured, and we don't know what the fuck he's going to do this season or if he's even going to play. Man, not a really great offense. Obviously, C.J. Stroud is good enough to win them some games, and Nico Collins is a great wide receiver one. So maybe there's some hope there. Hopefully they face some bad defenses along the way. I think they will. However, this defense they have, if it wasn't for how bad their O-line was and how spotty the skill positions were on that offense, this team would clearly be in first place for me. But this defense is one of the best defenses in the league. This Houston Texans defense is legit, man. So last year's defense, they had 49 sacks, 19 picks, 11 forced fumbles, and 10 fumble recoveries. Their key defensive players feature obviously Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. And then they got Sheldon Rankings, Azeez Al-Shahir, Derek Stingley Jr., and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who they just got from the Eagles. I think maybe the Lions, actually. I'm not too sure. The key losses, like I said, Larry Tunsil, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Ronald Darby, Steven Nelson, Eric Murray, John Mechie. You know it. But yeah, this O-line is not great. I don't like their skill positions that much outside of, C.J. Stroud, Nick Chubb, who was washed, Joe Mixon, who was injured, and then Nico Collins, Christian Kirk is fine. And I kind of like Dalton Schultz. Not an offense that moves the needle for me, and ultimately, I think the O-line is their downfall. Their defense is going to win them the majority of their games. Their defense is going to be very dominant. They got 2 great corners, and they got a great defensive line. That's really what you need. So if they win more games than I'm predicting, it's due to their defense and how great and dominant it is. Their defense is going to be very dominant still, but I still don't have them winning many games. I have this team finishing 9-8. If they improve their O-line significantly, get better weapons, get a healthier running back, this team is a Super Bowl contender in the upcoming years. But right now, they don't have a good offense, in my opinion. Their O-line is egregiously bad. They finished 9-8, and it's due to their defense and how dominant it will be. Great corners, and then great defensive ends, and a great defensive line to fucking put pressure on their quarterback. I'm a big fan of that defense, and I am not looking forward to playing them at all. This is probably a shocker to a lot of people. They finished 4-13 last year, but I am buying in that man, Liam Cohen. Duval, stand up. The Jacksonville Jaguars are finishing first in the AFC South this year. Mark my words. They are. I am buying in Liam Cohen. I am buying in that this man will change Trevor Lawrence, and he will make Trevor Lawrence a great quarterback like we all thought he was going into the draft and getting drafted number 1 overall. I am buying in on this Jacksonville Jaguars team. Probably not reasonable at all to buy in them. They had the worst defense in the league last year in a lot of categories. They were 4-13 last year, 1-8 away, 3-5 at home, but they did finish 3-3 in their division. So I probably shouldn't be buying in on this team, but I'm buying in. I'm believing in Liam Cohen. Let's talk about what they got. They have Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, and Tootin from Virginia Tech, who might be a sleeper to end up being started by the end of the year. They have a great fucking wide receiver room. I love this wide receiver room. Get ready. Brian Thomas Jr., who I fucking adore and love. Number 1 overall pick in the draft this year. 2-man player. 2-way player. Travis Hunter. De'Ami Brown, who I loved last year in Washington. I do think Washington might miss this fucking guy this upcoming season. De'Ami Brown. Parker Washington. Tim Patrick. And Joseph Cephas. This top 3 receivers on this team are really good. And then the depth is really good there as well. Tim Patrick, De'Ami Brown, Travis Hunter, and Brian Thomas Jr., sign me up for that. We saw what Liam Cohen did with the offense in Tampa Bay. He's going to try to do it again in Jacksonville. I think they will succeed in doing so. Also, like Brenton Strange, the tight end they got will work well in this receiving core they have. The only problem with this offense is I kind of shit in on the Texans for having a bad offensive line. This offensive line isn't great. Bottom 25, but I do think Liam Cohen will keep Trevor Lawrence on the move this year, and that will lead to his success. And I think there's going to be a lot of play action. I think there's going to be a lot of big passing plays that they succeed on. And I'm buying in. Liam Cohen, sign me up. I'm buying in to this offense. Let's talk about this defense, because the defense last year they had is really bad. Like I said, the Jaguars had one of the worst defenses last year. Just egregious, bad. Let's talk about what they did last year on defense. Last year's defense, get ready. These stats stink right here. The Jaguars had 34 sacks, 6 interceptions, 8 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries. Bottom in every category, I believe, in the league. Just atrocious. The key defenders they have this year: Obviously, they drafted Travis Hunter first overall. They have Josh Allen. No, not Buffalo Bills Josh Allen. Arik Armstead. Trayvon Walker. Devin Lloyd. Trayvon Walker, by the way, probably one of the most underrated first overall picks ever. He had a really good year last year for them. Maybe not showing out on screen, but good stats last year for them. Tyson Campbell, Jordan Lewis, Eric Murphy, and Emmanuel Ogba. The key losses this past year for them were Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis. Obviously, the big additions for them this year was Travis Hunter. They got Tim Patrick, De'Ami Brown, who as I said before, I really like De'Ami Brown. They made a couple O-line pickups, and Jordan Lewis on defense. Listen, this might be a shot in the dark, but I'm buying it on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them finishing first in the AFC South, finishing 11-6. Holy fuck. Is that maybe a shot in the dark? At worst, 10-7. But I'm believing in Liam Cohen, and I'm buying in on Trevor Lawrence, and this being the year where he finally proves to us what he was always supposed to be. Liam Cohen is going to work wonders on Trevor Lawrence, and hopefully this doesn't age bad. I shouldn't believe in this team because of this defense, but I do think they will improve upon last year, which was being the worst defense in the league. I'm buying. Liam Cohen, you're selling. I'm buying. 11-6, the Jaguars finish. It's most likely the Texans finish first in this division, but this is my shot in the dark. This is my risky pick. The Jacksonville Jaguars finish 11-6 and first in the AFC South. So here's how I have the AFC South going: 11-6 Jaguars, 9-8 Texans, 6-11 Indianapolis Colts, and then the 4-13 Carolina Panthers. So this is the first video on the AFC. The next video will be the AFC East, which features my beloved Buffalo Bills, and then AFC West, which features my arch nemesis and maybe the best division in the league. It is your boy Matt Talks Sports. Follow me everywhere at Matt Talks Films. You'll probably see a video I'm releasing on Matt Talks Films soon with the same jersey, revisiting The Dark Knight. I saw that in theaters, and my God, was it terrific. It is your boy Matt Talks Films. Next video will be AFC East, AFC West prediction videos, and Bills Corner, and I also will give my prediction for the Cowboys and Eagles game, maybe even the Chiefs and Chargers, but I think that will be done on Picks Friday. It's your boy Matt Talks Sports. I'll see you on the flip side.